What is going on, Bulls Nation? So my Twitter kind of just was all over the place with this news that the Bulls and Zach Lavine apparently are ready to move on from each other. So we're gonna talk about the possibilities and what it means right after this.
Get the lowdown on one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So with the Bulls kind of like a slow start, let's say that. It's highly noticeable that Zach is kind of like not engaged. Outside of that 51-point outburst, it's because he barely scored the game before as well. He seems kind of like a daisical. And this is supposed to be the year that he's right. Like he's not injured to start the year, had a full camp, feeling healthy and all that stuff. And the mentality is, Zoe is not going to walk in that door anymore. So they know the fact that he's gone. So there's a little bit more expectations here where they stand. However, Zach started off this year, like I said, seems not engaged. I don't know if it's just a slow start or it feels like there's more emphasis on ball movement, and it seems like after they were buying into it, and then after a few games that it didn't work out, they just want to revert back to doing what they're doing. And the guy who got affected on that mostly, I would say, is Zach. DeMar kind of bought in. You see him passing the ball to Vooch in the post, trying to be a facilitator. He's done that in San Antonio. Is he happy about it? I don't know, but you see that he tries a little bit. With Zach, he's a different kind of cat, man. He's kind of nuclear, where if he explodes scoring wise, man, this guy is untouchable. When he is hot, oh boy, he is hot. But also the problem is when he's not hot, he's not doing a whole lot. He's not playing defense that well. He's not that engaged. He's not, moving off the ball. He, as a good of a shooter as he is, if he just, kind of moves without the ball and try to get himself open, he'll get more opportunities. But he doesn't do it in a consistent basis. Like the catch and shoot Zach, we don't see it as much. That's where the Bulls are having trouble, because he is technically a shooter, but it doesn't feel that way, because when you're playing with a guy like Vooch or DeMar, you got to get yourself open, because they're gonna get doubled. But you can't stay in one place, because if you do, you're doing, you're giving the defense what they wanted. So you got to move around, cut to the basket, or find an open spot so you can shoot the ball. But with this news, it looks like they're both ready to move on. I guess the question is, well, Zach doesn't have a no trade clause. I guess the bigger question is the Bulls ready to blow it up? Or are they thinking of just quote unquote retooling? Because we did sign Nikola Vucevic for 3 years. If you're going to blow this up, I don't know what the market is for Nikola. I really don't know. What is the market for DeMar, who is in the last year of his contract? Can he fetch a first rounder? If not, some young assets back. That is if you are going to blow it up. The biggest asset we do have right now, I think if we blow it up, is Caruso. No doubt about it. And then I think we're going to get a couple of good pieces for, not Javonte. I love Javonte Green. Javon Carter and Torrey Craig. They are winning players that's got stuck in a sticky situation here in Chicago. I don't know. It feels like the way this roster is constructed, you got a bunch of guys that are winning players, and what I mean by that is, you got those role players that are ready to step up and contribute, like Caruso, even Ayo, Torrey Craig, and Javon Carter. They're good players. They're not scrubs. They're good players. The problem, and a lot of teams are looking at our roster and be like, hey, that will be the piece. Why can't we piece them all together? Is it a coach? It's just the roster construction is bad? Or are we doing an addition by subtracting Zach Lavine here? Because honestly, our guard rotation is kind of packed, if you think about it. Javon barely plays, and he's our most consistent shooter by far, and he barely plays. If you remove a guard like Zach Lavine, this would open a spot for maybe for our best player, which is Alex Caruso, to start, therefore opening a spot for maybe Ayo to be a shooting guard and then Javon to be a backup point guard instead of a third string point guard. So this could be an addition by subtraction if if we get rid of Zach. Now, if let's say we're gonna retool, because blowing it up is easy. You trade him for draft picks. If we're gonna retool, and for example we keep Zach, we trade Zach and we keep DeMar. We sign DeMar again and Vooch, because honestly, deep in my heart, I wanted to blow this thing up 20 minutes ago. But deep in my heart, I feel like the front office is not going to do that. We came in from a nothing. We came in from a team that was tanking, so they're just not going to blow it up. If they're going to retool this, DeMar is not bad as far as mentoring young players. We've seen him do that with Terry, Patrick Williams, Io. He can keep on doing that, and he's a good character guy as well. Him and Vooch, I mean, if we got him, it's not like we're not going to lose. We can still get draft picks, and their contract, as long as we only sign DeMar, if we do, for a reasonable kind of contract, and then, for 3 years, nothing longer than that. What can help us? A power forward, perhaps, and some expiring contracts. So maybe we could go after, if we trade Zach, right? If we're only going to get one pick, for example, from a team that's a lower pick, we should ask them to get somebody like Lonzo Ball. If that will be the case, if you're only going to give us one pick, take Lonzo Ball's contract off our hands as well. Then give us one pick and then salary fillers. Therefore, you can package those two contracts and maybe go after, I don't know, some decent guy next year like Pascal Siakam. There's a bunch of free agents next year that maybe, I said this before, free agent money is almost nothing nowadays. Most of these players just re-sign with their team, but you never know. Like I said, getting rid of Zach, I'd rather get draft picks, to be quite honest with you. So Philadelphia might be a good trade partner because they have a lot of expiring contracts. Tobias Harris, and then they got like 4 more power forwards. And funny enough, the Bulls needs a power forward because I love Torrey Craig, but he's in the smaller side. So if we can get somebody with length, that would be ideal. He's tough though, Torrey Craig, but somebody with length and something like that. Nicholas Batum maybe. I don't know. He's playing well, but yeah, those are. We're gonna put a list of teams that might be interested in Zach Lavine and the ones who make sense. But as far as the Bulls, I honestly think they would just retool this. If that means they would build around, I don't know, Io and Alex Caruso and Vooch, I think they would do that. They would not blow this up. They would do their best to get DeMar back and fill out the holes that Zach would leave. Honestly, that's not going to be a big hole, honestly. So, but I'm interested to see. This is one of the more exciting things that the Bulls are involved in a while. So I'm interested to see anything that happens. I'll be on it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.